live, but I have a feeling once I look back on this one day in the future, this will be relevant. I'm not gonna look at how many people are here. I don't care. This is simply just me recording something for a later date and doing it in the most convenient way possible. Cough, cough. I guess I don't know. Everyone's so unique, you know. But realizing that manifestation, I've had a very interestingly wrong idea about it, and it's aligned with my attachment to process, right? When you grow up in a situation like my household, where process is something that is practiced, and what does it mean to practice process, right? Well, process is this notion that only specific energies can create specific outcomes. So, for instance, you can't get a hug unless um, you can't get a hug unless you take it from someone. Like you have to like be aggressively intrusive in people's lives in order to get affection. That's one idea. Um, or another idea is that like if you want to get good grades, you have to study a lot. That's a very specific use of energy to manifest that reality. And it's like if I want to sit down on the couch, I got to bend my legs. That's a very specific use of energy. Very, very specific. And so a lot of people in the process of manifesting, they get blindsided or confused because they're trying to manifest something using a very specific process that they learned in their childhood. And those processes that they learned in their childhood were necessary for a very specific reason, because you were learning very primitive things. You had to learn how to read, you had to learn how to walk, you had to learn how to eat, how to shit, how to do all that stuff. So it only made sense that you would learn these very specific processes the same way everyone else around you did, because it was much easier to like speedway it that way. Everyone learns the same thing at the same time. That's a very common thing. A lot of communities do this. Even native communities do this. Everyone goes to the same academy. you know? And so, but like as we get older as beings, we can get lost in the comfort of this original process, right? You want to replicate it in other places, and God save you if you have any trauma with the process, because if you have trauma with the process, then what happens a lot of times is that you spend your life repeating the process over and over in different iterations. Um, so I think it's important to factor that in. So, where was I at? Hello, people. I'm just recording a video, really. You could stay it and watch, but I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be answering questions today. Um, yeah. So people get addicted to process. They get attached to the thing that the way that they're trying to manifest it. So, say for instance, like you want to build a house. You don't need to build your house out of wood and planks. You can take other items and make your house out of it. But process is like is being addicted to using wood, because you've used wood so many different times. Oh my God, hi Tori. um, you've used wood so many different times so that it's become a sort of like attachment to it. It's like I only respect wood. And so I'm realizing that in order to really manifest something, with ease, like with absolute ease, you have to let go of the need to have a specific way to get there. Hello, Johnny, Chaco, Reynaldo, all the homies in the chat today. As I said earlier, I'm just recording a fucking video. I just need to record a video real quick. And then I'll probably like play some piano or some shit later. Um, yes. But I'm walking in a circle because I'm just processing so much energy right now. But yeah, addiction to process. That's the topic right now. And so once you realize that you don't need to be so heavily attached to the process, I think you'll find that your energy radiates a lot cleaner. Like you'll be able to attract people into your reality that actually reflect the thing that you want to express in a way that's more convenient. So, say for instance, if you want to manifest a new car, right? But you're attached to the process of going online, buying a car, talking to people about it, getting a loan, blah 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 blah. Then getting the car is going to feel extremely difficult because it's going to have so many steps that you feel are concrete because you're attached to them. They aren't really concrete. Like you could let go of that process think about the car right now and just let it come to you in a way that would completely blow that idea out the water. Like you could just walk outside and someone could just hand you some keys because I don't know, their dead grandma just like passed or some shit. That's a more like creative example. I'll give you a more practical one, like one I've seen on the internet where it'll be like, um, you want this car, and so you just wait, you just envision yourself in that state having the car. You wait a couple days, and then someone calls you and is like, "Hey, bro, you want to come check out this car real quick?" And then they come check it out. When they get there, they find out that like, "Oh wow, this car is really cheap. Like it's actually extremely cheap. Like it's well within my budget." And they just buy the car right there. They didn't have to go look for it. They didn't have to buy it. It's just everything they wanted exactly like that. They just manifested it. Very interesting way to manifest, but you can only achieve that if you let go of the process. You cannot want to do things in a very specific way. If you continue to do that, you will always suffer. You will always feel like you're going in a circle. And so, as I'm breaking the circle cycle that I've been walking in, that's essentially it. Like if you want to create what you want, you have to let go of needing it to appear the way that you've seen other things appear. Otherwise, it'll just require you to put in the same energy that you put in last time. And it's crazy, bro. Because this is literally my struggle. For a long time, I was trying to manifest money and wealth, just trying to create this thing. And I didn't really have good guides on how to do that. Like people were guiding me to do it, but I couldn't perceive them as doing the right thing. Because for me, I grew up super Christian, super strict. So perceiving myself having a lot of money meant that I had to work a big job. I grew up in the black community, so it was like having a job meant like you were like separate from everyone. There's a lot of loneliness associated with wealth. Having money meant that you thought you were better than people. So it was a lot of bullshit, right? There's at least 1,000 different beliefs that are associated with money that keep you in a trap of money. And so at least 1,000. At least for me, in the particular reality that I am hailing from, that you're hearing about right now, at least 500. But I'm thinking well over 1,000. And so, and so I wanted to manifest money differently because I knew if I kept giving energy to that structure, it would just keep appearing. But the problem was, anytime I tried to manifest something, and it didn't come the way I wanted it to, I would blame the emotions that I was feeling at the time with the realization. So, say for instance, I wanted like $1,000, and by the end of the day, I didn't get any. I got like maybe $20. I'd be like, oh, it's because I'm not being happy enough. I'm not being full enough. I'm not expressing myself enough. It was some bullshit like that. And so as a result, I just kept feeling these negative states of emotions and then blaming them as for being the cause. When in truth, it was my blame, my focus, because blame is like a attached focus. Like it's like you focus on the thing that you're blaming because then you get to it becomes like another point of reference for you because you're using it to offset your pain. So say for instance you're blaming your mother, you'd focus on your mother. Like you focus on the things she's doing wrong that you could fit your pain into. You know what I'm saying? So I was essentially blaming these my emotions, which was making me attached to them, which was keeping me in the loop of them, which was making me have slower and slower manifestations. And they were very specific. So essentially, I had this belief that I needed to be attached to a specific kind of energy if I wanted to manifest something. And and now as I'm releasing it, I can see things are shifting very rapidly. Like people are joining, which is new. I'm recording these videos more frequently. I'm feeling more creative. I feel more alive, and I don't feel as bound to the old patterns that I used to have. To tie on this earlier, I had this attachment to being checked on, where like I basically believe that if people were not checking on me, then I was doing something incorrectly, or I was going to make a mistake, or something was going to fall apart if people were not checking on me. So it became a sort of a deadly cycle where like I would desire to not be checked on, but at the same time I'd be craving it. Like I wanted people to check in with me and make sure I was all right. Just I don't know. It's like crazy self like external validation shit that I learned in my childhood. So, but now that I'm kind of breaking this whole thing, I'm realizing I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't want it. It never mattered in the first place because reality is just a reflection of me, and that's crazy to think about, especially someone like me, because that means that the reality I'm experiencing is not, and I mean it very clearly, like the reality I'm experiencing is not really shared between me and other people. Like I came here on my own like vistilage from the spirit realm. You think about that. Like I came here on my own. If you can follow me, great. That means you're at my level. If you can't, then take what resonates and leave what doesn't. This is how my thoughts just kind of jump from place to place very quickly. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think I might play a piano piece before I turn off. Yeah, I'll just play a piano piece. Um, or not? I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. But yeah, and so you know, we get attached and addicted to the specific energies that we experience when we're a child, right? It's like being an earthling. You get attached to what the 3D looks like. If you were to go into like the invincible universe where everything is 2D and folding on top of one another, it'd feel weird to you. You'd crave this dimension because this is where you grew up. This is where you created a lot of your attachments. But and this is why it's so hard to like let go of people in death in a very interesting way because in death people just transition to another form of energy. They transition into a more expanded state where they're not tied down to their bodies anymore. And so I feel like a lot of us, when it comes to death, we have a hard time processing it because we have a big time attachment to the energy that we experience with our eyes. I mean, yeah, to say straight up. So I think that was about everything I wanted to say. If you missed it and you're coming in right now, then you can watch the video when it's posted. But yeah, I think that's about it. My voice sounds horrible. Mm. I need to shape up a little bit. But yeah, life is crazy, bro. Like, let go. Like, you're not any of the people you see online. Like, straight up let go. It doesn't matter. Because it was a reflection of you from the beginning.